What's up everybody and welcome to the channel. In today's video, we're gonna be taking a look at this 2026 Toyota 4Runner SR5. This one's finished off in Heritage Blue with an MSRP at $43,700. So more of a base model two-wheel drive SUV. Big shout out to Flo, Toyota of Statesville, for providing this SUV for today's video. Take a look at their website, linked down below. Let's get right into the basic 4Runner. Underneath the hood of the 2026 Toyota 4Runner SR5 is going to be the iForce 2.4 liter inline 4-cylinder turbocharged engine. Hybrids are available, however this is the standard non-hybrid gas version. So this is going to be pumping out 278 horsepower and 317 torque. It's paired to an 8-speed automatic transmission. This one is rear-wheel drive with curb weight around 4,500 pounds. Max towing capacity is 6,000 pounds. This has a 19-gallon fuel tank, and you can expect 20 miles per gallon in the city with 26 out on the highway. The overall length is 194.9 inches with a wheelbase at 112.2. Width is 78 and height is 72.6 inches. Even though this is a basic two-wheel drive 4Runner, approach angle is still 18 degrees with 8.1 inches of ground clearance, and departure angle is 22 degrees. Moving on to the exterior styling with the 2026 Toyota 4Runner, it is worth mentioning this SR5 has 0 added options. So there's no port installed options, there's no dealer installed options. This is about as basic as it gets for an SR5. You're gonna get a nice set of headlights with a dark housing. You can see the LED design for the actual headlight beam, and then you can see a plastic black material for the upper grille with the silver Toyota badge. There's gonna be a safety sensor down below, more openings to provide cooling, LED fog lights down below that, and then more plastic black. And moving all the way down, there's going to be a large air dam along with your 2 metal recovery hooks. You can see how the body color makes its way to the sides, and then I like how these fenders even have a air inlet to let air pass through. This is the newest generation 4Runner we saw last year. Has a really great appearance. I love how much more bold it is from the previous year. It just looks really nice. I think Toyota did a great job on the newest generation 4Runner, giving it the same style that we love from the 4Runner, but in a more modern flair. You're gonna see some bold lines throughout the hood, fading towards the windshield, and the front fender has a lot of contours to it to make it look a lot wider. You can see the plastic black material for the fender arches, and then a nice set of simple wheels. They're finished off in a good looking gunmetal color. They're 17-inch diameter. You can see more of a square off shape for those actual fender flares. And then throughout the side, we have more sharp contours throughout the lower portion of the door, plastic black for all the handles, and then more plastic black for the side mirrors. You're gonna get more of the black material for all the trim from the windows, and then a nice set of roof rails up above that aren't gonna be functional. For the side profile, similar style that we've seen on previous years and generations. One thing I really like is how they've done this third window. It actually curves upwards towards the roof line, kind of like the older generations. So they brought some of the heritage in it, which is very fitting, especially having this one in Heritage Blue. You're gonna see more sharp body lines throughout that rear, and then I like the blacked out SR5 badge. Sharp lines in the rearmost part of this bumper, and then a cool set of LED taillights. They have a very three-dimensional design to them. We have some plastic in the center with Toyota written out, backup camera, the buttons to open and close the rear sliding glass, some black trim, as well as an integrated spoiler up top with a hidden windshield wiper. You're gonna see 4Runner written out in black, and then more of the black plastic. You're gonna see recovery hooks down below on the frame, a spare tire hidden underneath, and then your trailer hitch with all of those connections nicely integrated. Got a tucked away exhaust tip, and then more reflectors. So overall, the newest gen 4Runner I think looks fantastic, just giving it a modern style to the body style that we've all loved. For the key fob, just a typical one with the lock and unlock, just basic plastic. If I go ahead and lock the car, it still has the smart key. Grabbing it, it unlocks. We can take a look at the light gray fabric interior. You're gonna see primarily black trim with a little bit of dark silver accents. This one just gets some hard plastics. We do have padding on the armrest, a nice grab handle, all of your controls, plastic black for the release handle, and then a good amount of hidden storage throughout the door panel. All manual controls for the seat with up and down. We have recline. However, we do have a lumbar support button. And then this is a very light gray fabric with a cool texture to it. Nice little bolsters to it as well. And then making our way up to the headrest. Just a nice simple design. Got a 4-spoke steering wheel with this nice leather style material, and then some light silver trim with some faux stitching on the airbag cover. And then now inside the 2026 4Runner SR5, keep my foot on the brake. We can go ahead and fire it up. You're gonna see 2 screens turning on. And then for the steering wheel, on the left side, we have some screen controls. We also have your volume, voice commands, and then on the right side, we have all of the cruise control. You're still gonna get the distance spacing and lane keeping assist. And then on the right stock, we have our windshield wipers, on the left stock, headlights and turn signals. Now, for being the base model, you're gonna get a smaller screen for the gauge cluster. We still have our temperature on the left side, fuel over on the right. But then if we take a look at the actual screen, you can scroll through a lot of safety information that's gonna pop up. And then scrolling up and down, we have messages, we have some eco, fuel economy information, and then you can see some more information for the cruise control, audio, as well as some more info. So while it's more basic, honestly, you have everything you need, especially with all these vitals you can monitor. Got the speedometer and tach right in the center, pitch and roll, traction monitor. So realistically, you have everything you need, even in a smaller screen. On the far left side, you have a ton of blank switches, as you can tell. However, we have traction control, automatic high beams. You can adjust your headlight angle. We have our fuel cap as well. Some silver trim, one of your air vents, just some harder plastic up above, very simple. And then on the right side, you're gonna get a nice hidden storage bin above the glove box, a lockable glove box that opens up with a large amount of space. And then this is the smaller screen. Other ones will have a much larger screen. However, this screen really has every single thing that the big screen has, and honestly, it fits the interior a little better. You will have Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, all that stuff can connect. So you pretty much have everything you're gonna need just in a smaller screen. As far as reverse goes, with the backup camera, still a pretty nice view with HD graphics, and you can do the 2 different angles. Underneath that, just some more simple trim, and then climate control is very basic. We have temperature right here, you can see that correspond with that diagram. And then we have our mode, you can adjust. We also have the recirc and AC, and then a large fan speed. So no dual zone, no heated seats or anything like that, but honestly, it kind of has all the tech you're gonna need to get the job done. We're gonna have hidden storage all throughout here, even with a couple extra plugs. You got a grab handle, more hidden storage, and then down below we have our auto hold, park and brake, and a couple drive modes. So I can toggle this, it's gonna pop up. We have sport, normal, and eco, so great for street use. And then we just have a tow and haul mode as well. Again, more blank switches, no 4-wheel drive or anything. We have our 2 cup holders, just some rubber material for the center, and then a decent glove box down below. One last look at the interior. You know, it is a lot of hard plastic in here, so kind of basic. Tech is kind of basic, but again, it kind of gives you everything that you need. Nice color with the contrast seats, and then just dome lights up above and the black ceiling. And then you're gonna get dome lights. We have a sunglass holder up above, and then I also like how we have our button right here where we can easily open and close that rear sliding glass. And then lastly, we just have a basic manual mirror. Moving on to the rear seat space now for the Toyota 4Runner. Opening the door. Door panel's finished off just like we see up front with just the hard plastics. You do have the padded on the armrest, and then there is a lot of hidden storage in it, even with a cup holder. Same seats back here. This can seat 3 people. So nice style with all that. In the center, we can pull this one down and you're gonna get an armrest with 2 cup holders. For amenities, you're still gonna have air vents back here along with the 2 plugs, and there's storage cubbies on the back side of both front seats. You have your car seat anchors hidden under here. We can pull that recline lever and these will tumble all the way forward. So that is how they get completely out of the way, giving you a pretty good entry point into the back for extra cargo. And then from here, we can just pull them down and we have nice flat folding seats. So hopping into the back seat with the Toyota 4Runner. So with the recline angle all the way up, definitely straight up. However, if I recline this all the way, it goes down quite a lot, as you can tell. Overall, this is actually a pretty practical, roomy family SUV. It isn't the largest thing out there. A Honda Passport for similar money is going to give you a little bit better space. But this is body on frame, a bit more rugged, and still gives you amenities back here in a comfortable seating position. 5'11", I have tons of headroom. Driver's seat, I moved up about 1 inch to clear the headrest to fold these down. I have plenty of legroom and footroom. Footroom, I will say though, they're kind of smushed under the seat a little bit, so that's a little small, but nonetheless, it's not too bad. Car seats will fit decent in here, so it's a pretty decent overall family SUV. Onto the rear end, there's gonna be this button right here, and when we go ahead and press the lower one, you're gonna have that power sliding glass popping all the way down. So that is a fantastic feature. 4Runner owners absolutely love it. And then holding the up button, it'll lock the car as well as pull this all the way up. So nice how you can use that to open, close, lock, and unlock. From here, we have a manual liftgate, just lifting that upwards, and we have a really good amount of cargo space. So with the seat folded down flat, you can see how useful everything is. And then with the seat in the up position, you have a really large trunk area. The hybrids will have a large bump in here, and then you can get 3-row seating in here. You're gonna get some storage on these side areas, which is a nice touch to see. A large cutout with an LED light, and the same sort of deal over on this far right side. Floor itself is gonna have a couple tie hooks in it, same with over here. So it's pretty nice how everything is laid out. And then up above, we just have a small grab handle to close it down. All right, so setting off now in the 4Runner. I gotta say the 4-cylinder turbo is a bit peppier than I remember it. The hybrid packs so much torque, that instant EV power, but this 4Runner honestly is not bad. It also weighs less than the hybrid, given you don't have that massive battery pack. So this actually feels pretty good without even really going above 4,000 RPM. So even just half throttling this, driving it pretty conservatively, you know, it doesn't really rev itself too high, and yet you have plenty of power mid-range. So not bad, especially, again, this is the base model. This is pretty much the cheapest one. You're gonna be looking at mid-40s, which is below the industry average of a price point of a brand new car today. So overall driving this, honestly, it's really a pretty good driving car overall. It feels decently smooth for a body-on-frame SUV. And then getting up and going again, the 8-speed feels pretty smooth. I like how there's like a little jolt in between shifting. It just kind of makes it feel a bit more sporty and lively. Maybe especially being rear-wheel drive too. This is basically the lightest configuration you're gonna get for one of these new 4Runners. There's not too much brake dive or body roll. I think the chassis is significantly better than the previous generation, which had so much dive and roll. It would make you car sick, quite honestly. This feels a lot more stable and a bit more planted. The steering feel is pretty direct. Visibility is really good all around. I like how the windows are a little smaller, so it kind of gives you that tank feeling. You know, you feel like you're in something tough when you're in even a basic 4Runner. Now the Honda Passport is probably the closest competitor, which is a unibody SUV. This white one right on the corner. That's a lot more open, more like kind of like a minivan style feeling, I would say. This feels a bit more truck-like, and I do like it a lot. It feels more familiar, it feels athletic. It's a nice driving SUV without being too hardcore, given it still is body on frame. Now, only drawback to me is just all the cheap hard plastics. You know, higher specs, you're gonna get soft touch materials all throughout it, and they feel way more premium. But honestly, at least my armrests are both comfortable. So I'm not really hating on the basic interior. I like the basic screens. I wish the bigger ones were just optional. I would honestly go for these just because you have everything you're gonna need. Now, being two-wheel drive, probably not the most off-road capable one, given you don't have nearly as much tech and mechanical aspects as any of the TRDs or even just a all-wheel drive limited or something like that. But nonetheless, this is gonna be a pretty good rugged SUV. Even with all-terrain tires, you're still gonna be able to go places. You know, I don't think you're gonna not be able to have some fun, even in a two-wheel drive one off the beaten path. Now, if we go into the sport mode, we have a manual shift select. Let's see if it's more of a gear change or a limiter. Honestly, it does pretty good letting me shift and everything, so it seems like you can drive this and have a little bit of fun with. But it feels lively to drive. It's also pretty quiet overall. So my honest thoughts now, driving in the 2026 4Runner SR5. Now, 44 grand still isn't obviously the cheapest amount of money out there. We don't live in 2005 anymore, so needless to say, this is kind of average for a average car. However, the average price point is nearing $50,000. So this is below an average price. Doesn't necessarily mean it's cheap, but for 44 grand, honestly, it seems like a pretty nice truck. I wouldn't mind, even in the base offering, to have more soft touches, just because hard plastic everywhere. I mean, come on, it's still a lot of money. I doubt it costs that much to put a bit more soft touch materials. So that's my one complaint. I really wish that should just be standard. A couple bits, have them just a bit nicer. With that said though, fundamentally you're getting a rock solid platform. This turbo 4-cylinder, I'm liking this a lot better than I remember. Now, the previous gen 4Runner had the legendary V6. Older ones even had a V8 offering. People love the V6 given it's so reliable. However, so far we're not seeing any major issues with these 4-cylinders. They seem to be pretty good. They're handling towing, they're handling off-roading, they're handling life in general. People are not reporting massive issues. And honestly, there are plenty of other manufacturers making V8s and V6s that are having hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of thousands of vehicles recalled due to issues. You're not seeing Toyota have that. So I do find it funny whenever Toyota has the slightest issue, they fix it instantly and people still complain when, you know, didn't Ford recall like 1 million vehicles? So Toyota's not seeing issues with these engines. Owners aren't seeing issues with these. These are seeming to be very reliable. With that said, the V6 was so slow and sluggish, it could barely get out of its own way. This turbo, you give it some power, and you're moving. You could not, for the life of you, say that about the V6. The thing didn't move. So the fact that this not only has a ton more power, even in its basic 4-cylinder turbo engine, the transmission, the gearing is significantly better. There's a lot of gear hunting in the old generations. You know, even the older ones had 5-speed automatics. I mean, again, we don't live in 2005 anymore. So the fact that this is so much better to drive than the old one, I think is why it's also worth more money. 4Runners hold their value pretty well. We're seeing that they are reliable. So I think, honestly, if you enjoy your older V6 4Runner and you got, you know, 200,000 miles on it and you're ready for something new, this is the next best choice. My dad has owned 2 4Runners. He's got 100-something thousand on his 2016. I think the next car for him is going to be a 4Runner just because there is no SUV on the market like the 4Runner. I was starting to lean towards the Honda Passport when I first checked them out. Still a fantastic alternative to this if you want something that is a bit smoother on the road, a little easier to get in and out of, more car-like. But if you want the rugged SUV body on frame, this is the only option. And honestly, the more I drive both of them now, I like the 4Runner better. It feels more lively, it feels more sporty, it feels more rugged and tough. It feels like a cooler SUV. So those are kind of my ending thoughts. I don't really have major complaints. I feel like it's just a good, rugged, utilitarian SUV that has a lot more capabilities than anything in its class and has that tough aspect that a lot of 4Runner owners simply love about them. That is it for today's video on the 2026 Toyota 4Runner SR5. If you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button. Stay tuned for plenty more content to come. And then a big shout out and thank you once again to Flo Toyota of Statesville for providing this car for today's video. Check out the link to their website, link below, and I'll see you guys in the next video.